Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man. I'm coming to you right after the rally we had. How you doing, Wolfpack? You got here quick, buddy. I'm going to talk about some of the things in my title that I picked up on Mr. Key's rally. And if you'll read it, you'll see he hit him with a hammer at the end. And talk about 5D chess. I'm toddling out here. I'm carrying something and going to my favorite spot. But how's the broadcast, Wolfpack? How's it coming? And has it been smooth ever since I started? I hope that's the case. I hope it is. I hope we got a good 5x5. How you doing, Bubba? How you doing, Wild West? Kate? So Trump hit him with a hammer at the end, right between the eyes. What did you think? Of course, he'd been tapping him on the head through the whole speech with a high net, with a ball peen hammer, and at the end, I think he gave him a sledgehammer to think about. So he's going to make a big announcement November 15th. We're dealing with 5D chess, folks. All right, it's good 5x5. 5D chess. So automatically, the pundits, the news media, and they may be right. They're going to say that Trump is going to announce his 2024 run. Is that so? Maybe so. But I tell you, a curveball is not out of the picture. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ann. Ha. So there's a lot of moving parts. I know all of you remember that the House has scheduled him to testify because they have summoned him on the 14th. Tonight, he says, the night before the election, he's going to make a big announcement on the 15th. Now, if you wanted to bring on the pain, Punisher, you want to keep them guessing. It's like 1,000 times worse than you did something wrong and your father's coming home. 10,000 times worse that. Something you and I couldn't even think of because of the consequences they're going to have to face. And I think it was Godfather 1. You're going to have to answer. You're going to have to answer. Here's some plane tickets. Don't worry. Your punishment is you're out of the family, and he gets in the car, whap, something else happens. So I won't ruin the movie for those who haven't seen it. But Godfather 3 is the one we've always heard mentioned. So anyway, he upped the debt from China to 65 trillion. I don't know if anybody caught that. He had been saying 50 trillion. He started off with 40. So the ticker is going up. But you're going to have a lot of very concerned people. Very concerned. And that is the punishment. That's part of the punishment. He's having to go through the concern. Now, do you think he's going to show up on the 14th to this self-proclaimed authority that is summoning him, commanding him to appear before their royal backsides? Pose numbers, what do you mean, honey? Carol, I'm asking, I'm looking at the comments here. Oh, and I see what you got there. What you think he will announce. Now, he probably won't announce that but he may announce that he is referring the matter somewhere else. I'm trying to find out. What does that mean? Pose numbers. I don't. POSE. What did I? I can't see my title anymore. If I did a typo, I don't know if that's in my title or not. Yeah, he said 15th. He's going to make an announcement on the 15th at Mar-a-Lago, and I think it's going to have something to do. My thoughts is that they're going to have to worry that it has something to do with an earlier comment that I'm not free to say that Anne mentioned. So anyway, there's so many moving pieces. And what does Trump always say? That he never telegraphs his moves. He never lets them know what he's going to do. And he was talking about uh, combatants in different areas of the world, primarily ISIS. You never let them know what you're going to do, but he's always said that as a general rule with an opponent. So he's going to have a very important announcement, and it could be, yeah, he could say, I'm going to run for 2024, but then he could tack on the end of it. If I don't go back in today, but I doubt that's going to be the case. As I said, if he serves less than 2 years of a term, he's got the entire 4 years for a second term. In this case, a second and a half term completely open to him. Hi, Outlandish. How you doing? El Griswold, how you doing? So he may very well say that he's making a formal pleading with the Supreme Court. Could be something like that. Everybody said, well, it's not going to be big enough. Well, it's going to be big enough if he is petitioning the Supreme Court to review the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that said, yeah, that stuff was illegal, but that doesn't mean that you can do anything about it. You just can't do it again. Because that's nowhere in the black letter of the law as far as a remedy, and it's nowhere in the Constitution. As a matter of fact, it violates the Constitution. Equal protection under the law. Nikki, hey, you made it back. Hi, honey. So it's going to be very exciting. And then the J6 bunch, they're going to have to decide something. I was looking at the chats. I didn't see them all. Maybe somebody said something, but I asked the question, do you think he's going to show up to testify on the 14th? And that's what the news characters are putting out, that he is going to testify on the 14th, the day before the big announcement that he announced tonight. Do you think he's going to go sit down and be dressed down by the J6 committee? There are so many different moves and options because apparently they have said, somebody has intimated that it would be televised because that's the only way Trump said he would show up. And that says no. Georgia says, I think not. If it's going to be televised, he might just show up and be permitted to make an opening statement, and he could just stand up and say, "I'll see you all in court," and get up and leave. It is not a court proceeding, so there's no purpose for taking the fifth. That's one thing I did. There's so many things going on. I didn't get to address a lot of stuff I noticed about the J6 committee that General Flynn took the fifth and all these people took the fifth. Well, no, sure, it's a good legal strategy, but the bottom line, if that is not a court of law, you don't. You just have to say, "I decline to answer." I don't feel you have the force of law. I don't want to answer you. You don't say, "I take the fifth." You do that in a court of competent jurisdiction. You take that in a court of law, not some kangaroo commission. So he could show up and he could just say, "I'll see y'all in court," and then get up and leave. Or he could say, they ask him a question, you just say, "That's a stupid question. I don't feel like answering. You're stupid. Give me a question worth answering." He could make monkeys out of them. He could call them what he thinks they are. Some of the language he uses during his speeches. Some of them he may say they're evil. Some of them he may say they're insane. Some of them he may say they're stupid. He gave another little olive branch to Biden because, as I mentioned in the past, mental deficiencies give you some level of protection from certain types of punishment. And he did say that Biden was cognitively impaired, and he's called Nancy crazy. So those are little olive branches because it's going to go down. Okay, it's going to go down. It's just, what do you want? What do you want? You want to say you knew what was going on, or you want to go ahead and just say you were crazy, okay, or suffering from dementia, and we'll take it easier on you, or you're gonna try to prove that you're a nice, smart person. So he could, like they say, it would make the Super Bowl look like a puppy show. Because he deserves the respect of the office of the President of the United States. And having the temerity to summons him to that political construct of a commission is not showing the office the respect it deserves. And why does it deserve that respect? Because it is our president, our representative. So they are disrespecting us. And so let me see. He could show up. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to, what are they going to do? Do like they did with Alex Jones, say, "Up, you can't say nothing except you're sorry," or go to jail. They can't do that. He can say what he wants. They can't tell him he's out of order. They say they want his testimony, right? And what was the video I did on my Mountain Man Says, or Mountain Man Says, testimony. People holding their right hand up. It's on the thumbnail. A witness tells the truth. So he could say the truth as he sees it. He could call out criminal behavior. All in the record of the United States Congress. So, that's right, Kate. He was disrespected, as we were for years. And Georgia says the lion does not concern himself with the trifle of hyenas. Well, I've seen videos where the lion just goes ahead and tears them up. These hyenas are dangerous. He said in his speech that they're dangerous, and it is the most dangerous uh, enemy that we have ever faced. And he's talking about what's in our country, not someone abroad. I see what you're saying there, Care. Uncle Sam, he talks about Uncle Sam because the guy's there at every rally. I don't I I tell you the bombs that he dropped were that China owes a 65 billion now. That he's going to make a big announcement on the 15th, and that Joe Biden is cognitively unfit to serve. And Mike says, never ask a question if you don't know the answer you're going to be giving. Who are you speaking to, Mike? Uh, if somebody knows what's up Trump's sleeve, is he going to show up? That's the question I asked. So I can't ask that if I don't know the answer. What? I got a crystal ball. I got a can and a string to Mar-a-Lago so I can listen in to what Trump's thinking. I'm asking you to think about what the strategy would be. Would you go if you were President Trump? Or would you dare them to do what they did to many other people that didn't come, like Steve Bannon? He could not show up to just to provoke them into action, which would be extremely difficult. Ah, I see what you're saying, Mike. Yeah, I see what you're saying because if they ask if they ask Trump a question, they might get the answer they don't know, but they didn't want to know. So you're right, Mike. I'm just reading the chats here. 71% equals 17 mirrored. Yeah. What do you think the 71% is? The amount of people that are positively ready for uh, a big change? Yes, Wes. That's what I'm wondering. What is the announcement going to be? It's not going to be certain to me, but I guarantee you, keep an eye on the news reports. Are all going to say that Trump is going to announce his run for the presidency on the 15th, and I'm thinking, how you doing, Karen? I'm thinking he might come around with a curveball. He might throw a curveball and announce something else, or announce that he's running plus something else. But I tell you what, between now and the 15th, a lot of people aren't going to sleep very good. And a lot of people are going to be twisting their brains to try to decipher and decide uh, what he's possibly going to do. Oh, the storm. Do you think he's going to say that? Boy, wouldn't that be something? I always thought, you know, how you sit and you think, wouldn't it be nice? You have that whole group up there interviewing somebody. You know, I was at I was at the Capitol and somebody flicked a booger at me and said, "This is MAGA country." You know, listen to a bunch of sob stories, and all of a sudden the doors open up and Trump, 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 Trump. Bunch of soldiers come walking in, round them all up. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? And then maybe that's what'll happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but wouldn't it be nice, like the Beatles song, wouldn't it be nice? If they're sitting there, well, we're waiting for President Trump. We're here and he hasn't shown up. And then just then you get the sound of marching boots. But and the next day, Trump says what Mike said. Okay. Yeah, I saw that, Mark. I saw that drop. And it is very non cryptic. 17 drop. It's asking very straightforward questions about stuff that people can say. You know, what did Pops get out of it? 10% of the $1 billion. You know, it's got questions like that that are a punch in the nose on a number of subjects because they've all been made public. The LAP top. Well, I see what you're saying, Mary. Um, Trump did. Whoops. Let's see. 14 states National Guard on location. Okay, can't put that up. Haha. I got to watch that. Where I was trying to put a. There we go, Mary's. Trump did say he didn't want to announce tonight and take away from what is happening tomorrow. Well, that's true because if he did say something like he was petitioning the Supreme Court, if he made an announcement like that to overturn Pennsylvania's Supreme Court, which is a piece of cake because it doesn't have any basis in law. So if he announces that, people go, oh, he's going to, you know, get it overturned, so I'm not going to go vote. So it could be something that simple, Mary. I don't know. But Mike is right. 14 states have got NG, and they have got direct liaisons with Space Force. They have active participants in the National Guard that are members of Space Force, and that's who does all the data collection, collation, and investigation. So that's got a lot of people worried too. Oh, Georgia, you read the drop? 17 drop? Yes, it's an interesting plot to the movie. Pennsylvania Keystone State. That it is. Well, we are looking at a certain part of the movie. I don't know if it's the end, but Trump offered to step in with the situation in Ukraine. And that made me think of the Godfather 3 movie. Blessed be the peacemaker, for he will be considered a child of God. That was one of the quotes from there. There are a lot of things in that movie that you could think apply. That was mentioned in the that particular letter, the drops. I think we're going to have a dark winter. I thought about that too. I'm thinking of, a lot of parts of the country, especially in the DC areas, having kind of a Indian summer, or at least they did. I think it's going to get cold. Uh, but it was beautiful weather to have a rally, I can tell you that. So there's a lot of different choices. There's a lot of different pieces on the board. Is he going to go to the January 6th committee on the 14th? If he went, what kind of trouble, what kind of booms could he let off? Or could he just decline and bait them when they know he's going to make an announcement to the following day? And by all precedent, once someone has announced their run for the presidency, they're basically untouchable from a political committee, the demands of a political committee. So he could just say, go pound sand, and they got less than 24 hours to figure out what they're going to do with him, because he's going to make that announcement. They don't know what the announcement is. He could make an announcement that would knock all our socks off. Or he could just torture them a little more and hints, give a big hint. And he's done a lot of that. But you heard all the names that he mentioned. One live stream I did, I was talking about, I didn't get into it too deep, a worldwide Schedule F. Schedule F, which is where the president was going to relieve people of their duties in the federal government. And as I said before, we have over 3 million people in the federal government, and it's worse than Twitter. Twitter had half their workforce showing up and drinking wine and farting around all day and barring somebody they didn't like. And he just got rid of them. And Schedule F is basically an executive order that is in full force and effect. Maybe he's going to announce Schedule F effective today. Wouldn't that be something? I don't know. I'm just got some wild thoughts. Nothing solid. I'm just going to say that there's a lot of options. A lot of options. And when you got a trapped rat and you got a hammer, he doesn't know if you're going to hit to the left, hit to the right, hit right down on top of their head, hit them in the foot. They're going to dance to whatever way Trump makes a feint with that hammer. He makes it look like he's going to go to the right. The rat's going to run to the left. So Trump's got the hammer, and he's going to be the Punisher. Some channel saying that nukes are going off. Well, I think we would know something about it. I'm like you, Wild West. I think we'd be hearing from a bigger authority than YouTube posters. That's right, Karen. God never loses. But I don't want to be a broken record, but he didn't lose in Noah's day either. It's just how many people were on his team. Because the ones that aren't on his team, they're not going to be winning. I'll put it that way. And so many people claim to say that they're with God, but they do not follow the book. That's right. Be careful who you follow, Georgia. Yeah, the EBS would be active because I had a map that I was going to post that showed uh, if there was anything with the nuke word, where it would cover, what areas would cover if something was set off around Ukraine in the eastern portion of Ukraine. The currents in the air, prevailing winds, it would cover quite a bit. And I'm sure there would be some kind of emergency broadcast. So let's just going through the chats and taking a look. So anyway, I had a video of that cat was playing with a mouse, and she's sitting there. She got her paw on a mouse's tail, and she's kind of like laying there like she's on the beach or something while she's got her paw stuck out. She looks very leisurely, and this mouse is, caught by the tail. And I was going to take a screenshot of that if it was clear enough, and put Trump's name on the cat and DS, deep state, on the mouse, because that's the way I feel it's right about now. And yeah, she ate the mouse. But anyway, okay. Maybe he'll have John Durham with him. And he'll just say, Mr. Durham, could you take the mic and explain to people what's going on? Because the scope of his investigation and the Q drops said it's tied in with the Inspector General. All the investigation, the things that were being investigated by the Inspector General, and that includes CHILD, and then hope you feel better, Nikki. Prawn, a lot of other things, and interference in our process, if you know what I mean. That is part of his authority, under his purview. So maybe I would be keeping a sharp eye out at Mar-a-Lago for a fellow with a goatee and a bald head and a big briefcase. Maybe that's what it could be, because they've said that it's not going to be a report. Trump refers to it as a report. He says, I'm waiting for the Durham report. I'm waiting for the Durham report. I've heard it said by a lot of people who've been following this for a long time and never steered me wrong, that Durham is not going to have a report. His report will be in the form of indictments. Annette, you're clicking out too, and Mike's clicking out. Holy cow, everybody's clicking out. So anyway, that's the big question. If we had a curious news, people that were actually trying to report news, in real investigative reporters, they would be asking these questions. Is he going to show up? I mean, I'd be doing a talk show tonight if I was with ABC or any of the big news organizations. I would definitely be having a panel on, do you think he's going to show up for J6? But see, they can't have a freewheeling discussion like that because too much is going to get out. So they're going to act like, well, Trump's supposed to show up on the 14th, and then they'll go on to a different subject. Just like they said, well, this Poroshenko case is Durham's last case. It seems to be winding down. Are you kidding me? 2 trials for peanut offenses. The peanut FISA business with Sussman helping the Hillary campaign. That's peanuts. And a peanut thing with Poroshenko, who they tried to give $200,000 to come up with dirt on Trump, when he's got the authority to investigate all the big fish and big crimes with serious consequences. 200, it's hit the 200,000 mark. Mike, you're right. Right, there's a site. It's called, gosh, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going from my memory, badboys.com. You can look down at through states and counties, what kind of stuff. A lot has been unsealed. And I saw that somebody got arrested, I think in New Mexico, out of a election office, an official. They call them a staff member, okay? But if they give quotes, they're anonymous officials. But when they get caught, they're a staff member. You see how that works? Ann and Nikki, hope you feel better, Nikki. And we'll see you soon. Hi, hello, America. How you doing, Red? How you doing, Red? We're wondering if how he's going to handle the January 6th committee on the 14th, and he's going to make a big announcement on the 15th from Mar-a-Lago. And then the J6 committee, if they are delusional enough to think that they can actually be in a position to say to themselves, how are we going to handle Trump? They're not going to handle Trump. But do you think they're crazy enough to think they can actually handle Trump? So that's the thing. If he doesn't show up and they know he's going to announce something big the next day, if it is declaring his candidacy for 2024, by precedent, they can't touch him. So they're going to have that day window. And what if he does show up and just makes a mockery of them all and laughs in their faces or calls them out publicly? Let's see. I'm just checking the chats. So it's very interesting, but I'm sure there are scenarios laid out that the Trump team's going to follow. And we all know who the team is. It's a big team with a lot of different branches: Space Force, Marines, National Guard. I'm sure that's all laid out, contingency plans for whatever, come what may. "50 states going red. Wouldn't that be something?" Even the great Ronaldus Magnus, as Rush Limbaugh used to call him, got 49. But that was Minnesota. That was Walter Mondale's home state. He won it, I think, by 2,400 votes. And I think they found those votes in the trunk of somebody's car. And Reagan said, don't worry about it. I got 49. And that was not that long ago when this country is unified. But as Trump has said, the biggest enemy of the people is not the faces on the screen. Some of them, yes, but a lot of them take it personal. The newscasters themselves feel they're being personally attacked, but it's the ones that are controlling what is being said and done in the news services. They are the biggest enemy of the people. California and Illinois, dark blue. Illinois, I don't know. I don't know. California, what's his name? Gavin Newsom was on an interview and he said he can feel it, a red wave. He admitted it. He can feel it in California because so many of their tactics have been pruned back over the past, especially the past year, last 6 months. So many of their tactics are now formally declared illegal, unlawful. So they're going to have to work really hard. And the thing about it being a midterm, there's so many races, so many House seats. It's with it, how are they going to do it? How are they going to pull it off? Like what happened in 2020, they had enough time to have all those pieces of paper that just had Biden's name on it and didn't vote for anybody else down the line because they were in a rush. Now it's not one person against one person. It's a lot of different elections, a lot of House seats, a lot of Senate seats, and it's going to be now. They are going to focus on Pennsylvania. And I already said in my earlier broadcast what I think the strategy was there with the wife from Brazil. And I mean, we're talking before Trump makes his announcement is over a week, 8 or 9 days, right? What's going to happen in another thing no one's ever reported on to give us any updates? Brazil. What is going on in Brazil? Everybody's just walking around and going shopping and going to work and no big deal. Bolsonaro is coming in the office every day, drink a cup of coffee. The military's just, doing jumping jacks in the morning and nothing's happening over there. When you've got something as momentous as a country that's a member of BRICS having a president order a review by the military of the process, I'll say, that is huge news. Huge. And we haven't heard one story on it from the regular legacy, they say, media. Now, I have seen people post that with nothing really solid behind it, that the justices over there have been detained. They could have been detained and told what to do and let go, or they could still be. Nobody knows. We don't have a news service over there. We don't have any reporters over there. But I don't know if they're going to let that play out first before we do anything here. But I do know the main point of the matter is if he is in there for less than 2 years, 2024 is a go. So I don't see anything happening as far as a formal changeover till after J20. Just don't see it. $5D chess, folks. A lot of mind games going on. Pennsylvania is going to get busted. Well, it's being looked at very, very strongly as Trump has often want to say, you're not going to use pine again. That was a disaster. That's from Red. What's Pine? I don't know. Oh, George is gonna shake him up. Say your prayers. Whoops! I meant to put you up there, Georgia. Governor controls them. Ha ha ha. Yeah, the governor. It depends on what governor you're talking about. I'll tell you who runs the National Guard is the combat commanders, combat operation commanders, COCs. That's who runs it. The governor can call out the National Guard, but he can't order something that's not lawful. And if you tell somebody, look, these people are violating the law, I order you to not see that. He can't. Oh, Red. I see what you're saying. Why are you doing that? Oh, that's right, because I don't have anything on this channel yet. Might as well shoot for the first one, right? You're bringing your own pen. Okay, Georgia. Red's going to do a construction project. Take 2 years to get things back. That's right. Well, Wes, I don't know. Trump was pretty quick about it once we got through the pandemic. He brought the economy right back. And I'll tell you what, this business of a Schedule F, if you remember, that FBI agent was, as Trump said, marched out of the FBI building. I mean, it was no warning. He showed up for work and they just said, look, out, get out. The Twitter gang, they had a little notion, they had a foreboding, but until they got that email, they weren't sure. And it was out, leave. Get your hush puppies, get your pictures off your desk and get out the door. And the Schedule F thing could be as far as employees of the government, because if you will look not very far back in your memory banks, the majority of Trump's troubles came from entrenched bureaucrats. Things will go a lot smoother with them out of the way. The Maria Abramoviches, the Alexander Vindmans, the one whose name shall not be mentioned. I guess I could say his first name is Eric, okay? The one Schiff was protecting. If Schedule F goes through, it's going to be just like with the Twitter gang and just like a guy at the FBI. You leave. Your job is over. No trespassing. Get out. And there goes their power to hinder. And the ones that don't get the boot, you think they're going to poke their head up? Of course not. They're not going to poke their head up. They're going to do what they're told to do their jobs. And wouldn't that be nice if it's like, okay, you're going to deal with Mr. T for 6 years. How about that? And I think so much of what we've been going through has been a lengthy process of vetting people in every branch, in the executive branch. You've got all these departments. You've got to get all the troublemakers, all the counterculture, uh, uh, anti-constitutional people identified. You've got to get emails or social media posts or something and say, look, here's the evidence. This person's got to go. And you got to do that for tens of thousands of people. And then when you get to the military, they said, as I said in other broadcasts, there could be as much as 40% that's going to be addressed. I mean, they're not all get fired, but some people are going to have to have an attitude adjustment or be demoted, or there's a lot of stuff to go through. Vetting right down to county dog catchers. Well, that's going to be, you're right, Georgia, but that's up to us. And we don't have to put up with people who don't treat us in a respectful and constitutional manner. They are public servants. Everybody made fun of it when Sarah Palin said, I'm coming to you with a servant's heart. And she meant that. And nobody ever gave her a chance to expound on it or looked at it from a political science perspective. What does that statement mean? What did Obama do when he got in? He kept pushing the word govern, govern, govern. There's sometimes you have to just govern. Okay? That is a code word for rule. For rule. That's not somebody coming to you with a servant's heart. Previous posts. So, okay, folks. Yes, it will take many years to right the wrongs. Okay, folks, I've been on for almost an hour, and I'll see if anybody's got any question. I mean, if you take time to think about these chess moves, the J6 testimony and the announcement the following day, what's everybody going to do? Not just Trump. And you know, Nancy is usually out setting the table with some kind of gibberish narrative that she's trying to set up. You've seen that in the past, but she has been quiet for at least a week. You have heard very little out of her other than that lame attempt to make that event at her residence to be blamed on conservatives. It's ridiculous, and it's pretty well known that that's ridiculous. So other than that, she hasn't done her usual prepping a narrative. All right, folks. Well, that's just points to ponder, and I'm coming up on an hour, and 65 trillion from China. That's the bill. It's overdue, right? And y'all have a great evening. Get a good night's rest, and like Georgia says, get up and vote in the morning. Ha ha. You all have a great night. I thank you much. This is Mountain Man over and out.